I think a lot of people try to go way too overboard. Well, they'll see one thing in a store and they'll be like, man, that's so cool. Like, it's got this like neon green. Like, I could pull that off. And they get it, and then they come home, and like it doesn't work with anything else that they have. It looks awful on them, and then they're just stuck with this piece of clothing, you know?
And now for something completely different.
Welcome to
Surrounded by Idiots
Radio Podcast.
You know, it's all about tips and tricks and life hacks and stuff to get your ass in gear and make your life or make yourself the best version of yourself. Welcome back to the Surrounded by Idiots Radio Podcast. This is your host, Tony Dufresne, PhD, and this week I would like to welcome my own personal image consultant, Patrick Kenger from Pivot Image Consulting here in Scottsdale. Hey, Patrick, how's it going?
How you doing, Tony?
I'm doing, and I'm really glad to have you on. I was glad to finally. I've been trying to get you on here for a while,
dude. Super
glad
to be on, yeah.
But that's what happens when you become popular and you're doing your thing. So I want to talk about creating your own image that's authentic to you, and that you can be consistent with it on the internet, on social media. Right. Branding never existed when I was growing up as a Gen Xer ever until you guys started this whole thing, and social media became a thing. And I personally don't think that you have to be, or you have to have a company to brand yourself.
Right.
Because I think branding, what it comes down to, especially in the context of now, is just finding your authenticity.
Yeah.
And displaying your authenticity. Because the big crack on Instagram is the whole, I don't know I forgot what it's called, but it's the whole like fake thing. It's the whole, the Instagram fantasy.
Oh, right.
Versus the real life.
Right.
It's the one where everything's all done and the makeup's all done and stuff, and they're at the gym and they're not sweating and they're going, hashtag, boss bitch or whatever the fuck it is. but which is not really true. It's all those fit chicks and stuff. And,
I know exactly who you're talking about, right?
Exactly, which is, so all that being the case, I would like you to give insight to people as an image consultant in regards to how, like a couple steps, in regards to how they can dive in or how they can be as authentic as they can to brand themselves on Instagram or social media. So they don't. There's a consistency there, and there's no pressure to have to live up to other people's accounts or posts,
right?
And just for them to be authentic and then to enjoy the process instead of looking at it like they're trying to compete.
And that's the hardest thing, though, is getting... so there's so much internal work that I feel like has to go on before you're ready to say, like, look at me with no makeup. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which I'm not... And that's...
I get what you're saying.
But, that is a good point, because I don't want to say authenticity is being just you exposed and completely vulnerable, which is not, because nobody's like that all the time. And we still have to put our face on. We still have to go out. We still have to bridge, and we still have to know our audience. And we talk about knowing our audience all the time, because you can't go out, if you're doing a sales call, you can't go out with your hair in rollers,
exactly,
and no makeup on and wearing a house coat or something as a girl,
right? Or
us going out and in a jock strap and some fucking cut off t-shirt, without showering for 8 days. We can't do that. So understanding that, what would you say in regards to kind of like a good some guidelines in regards to creating more authenticity in your image?
You need to know your goal first and foremost. You need to say, what is it that I'm trying to do, right? Who am I trying to connect with? Why am I trying to connect with them? So a lot of it, this sounds kind of businessy, but for people looking to like get to like a relationship, they're single and they feel really lonely, and you don't think that this is like actually a thing, but people like will post,
Oh, it's a thing.
It's definitely a thing.
Yeah, let's not lie here.
Right.
Yeah.
So, or if you're looking for a job, right? Like, and posting those kind of things. Like, what is your goal at the moment in your life? And saying, like, I'm going to tailor content around that. And you can still be authentic within that content, but you need to, put that stuff out there. So, like, let's say I want to get a job as, like, a marketing consultant or, a salesperson, whatever. I'm still going about my life, but if I post, I went to this conference, right? Boom, quick snapshot. Here I am at something, marketing con, whatever, hashtag, potential employers always look at your social media accounts. Like 70% say they won't even hire somebody if they're not online. Mm-hmm. It's crazy, right? Mm-hmm. So they're doing it. And so showing that you're engaged with your career, that you care about what you do, all that stuff, that's important. Same thing if you're looking to meet somebody, right? You want to put out attractive photos, right? Like that's okay. we talked about putting on your face, right? And not necessarily saying like this is me with no makeup, but selectively choosing which face you want to put on.
Yeah, and attractive photos doesn't mean all made up and out in a cocktail dress.
Right.
Attractive photo to me, for a girl, is her hiking camelback. And,
exactly.
And she's in her hiking gear. She's got her hair back in a ponytail, but she's got this big old smile on her face, and she's out there just connecting with what she wants to do.
Social media.
That's sexy as hell.
It is, yeah, exactly.
So it's you, because I mean, come on, the energy comes through.
Right.
And so if you are being authentic, or if you are doing something, or if you are in a place where you do feel comfortable and you feel like you can be who you are, that's going to come through in the picture.
I agree, yeah. And it's also a great place to show like your little quirkiness, right? Like if you're funny, like the one little line that you can post on Instagram, or go to Twitter. Like Twitter's the best thing for hilarious people, right? Because you can post all day, and people like, that's what people do, they're quick, they're quick-witted, whatever. Like that's a great account to use if you're a funny person, Just that's another thing too, is like going where you're going to shine your best, right? If you're not like the most attractive person on earth, like, and that's your goal, and you want to meet people, like maybe don't go on Instagram like and post all the time. Like if doesn't need to be your main social
it doesn't
channel.
have to be your face. It can be like different stuff.
Whatever
too.
it is, right?
Yeah,
exactly. Like you shouldn't feel like you need to compete with everybody else who is all done up on Instagram. You know what I mean? Like find your audience, find your channel, whatever works. Right? Like I use Twitter a lot. I don't really use Instagram that much. I use Twitter. I like the quick engagement, right? I like being able to just kind of quickly post something, whatever it is. A lot of my audience is on there. So, that's how I selectively do it. But there's other things too. Like if we're talking about Instagram, having a theme to your feed, right? Where somebody looks at your profile and you're using consistent filters, right? Maybe it's cooler if you're more masculine, warmer if you're more feminine, that kind of stuff. Little details like that. Consistent headshots. I always tell people your headshots should be consistent across your social media profiles, because that way when somebody goes and cross searches you on a platform, they know it's you, right? It's very easy to find. You have your little your thing, your icon or whatever it is.
And I think that's really important, because it's not even if you're not looking for a job now, and maybe if you're younger, or if you're just not, you may be looking for one, and realize nothing ever goes away.
Yeah.
And the consistency of that is going to I think make a big difference in regards to overall. It's going to add up, and it's going to show you in more of an authentic, consistent light.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Okay. I also think I think everybody should have a website too. I've wrote about this, but I think every person should have a website, because you always have something to say, and at the very least post a picture and your bio, right? Because like that's your space. Like that's your business card.
And what about as an image consultant in regards to clothing, colors,
having consistent colors? Like look at the stuff that's in your closet, right, and the stuff that you've maybe got compliments on, and then double down on that stuff. I think a lot of people try to go way too overboard. Well, they'll see one thing in a store and they'll be like, "Man, that's so cool! Like it's got this like neon green. Like I could pull that off." And they get it, and then they come home, and like it doesn't work with anything else that they have. It looks awful on them, and then they're just stuck with this piece of clothing.
If somebody wants to take a risk, and do something crazy,
smaller dose stuff like jewelry. When you walk into a room, you shouldn't be the first person that people notice. You should be noticed for your style. I tell guys to like level up their style. So in the sense of like, if everybody around you is wearing just like a button down and jeans, throw like a blazer on over top of that, right? If everyone's doing that, throw a pocket square in there, and just taking it up one notch, and then experimenting with patterns and stronger colors. If you're going to do patterns and stronger colors in smaller doses.
And for women?
Same thing. Like you can wear like a really great dress, and then you see like a great pair of shoes on them, and it's like, wow, instantly just kills it. If you want to be authentic, if you want to let your personality shine through, you got to understand the rules first, so you can manipulate that in a way that says, okay, I know how to make this work for me, right? Like that's the only way that you can really let your personality shine through with your clothing, is by understanding how it works.
And in regards to the image and social media being consistent, it's what's your goal? Play to your strengths, to your authenticity. Be consistent. Have a website. Find your seasonality, your colors, your color wheel, and then take a measured risk.
Dude, my
pleasure. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, anything, the usual stuff I always talk about, it's javabud.com, javabud.com. And if you have anything that you want to talk about, or you want me to talk about, or anybody to come in, then let me know what the deal is. And if the idea is good, I'll send you a book. How about that?
There you go.
There you go. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you next week. Thank you.